What's up, everyone? Josh or Miho here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the debut album from the band Serpents, entitled Born of Ishtar. This is released on Trve Media. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they're based out of Chicago, Illinois, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very dark and blackened style of deathcore. Now, I first got wind of this project sometime last year because I had first heard of this band by way of their guitar player, Andrew. And he has some pretty well-versed experience in the deathcore scene because he was a founding member of a really well-known band from Chicago called Oceano. He was one of the founding guitar players of that band. And really, he was one of the few band members in that band that had some really good stuff going on musically, a very intelligent, smart mind. And once he decided to part ways with that band, he decided to do some other different things, work on other different musical projects. This project being something that I had a lot of vested interest in. Because when I first heard some of the earlier Serpents material, it didn't sound like your typical run-of-the-mill kind of deathcore. It wasn't so emphasized on breakdowns and brutal vocals. It had a lot more depth and intelligence to it. And to be honest, I look for stuff that's refreshing in this music style because I tend to back away from this music style nowadays. I mean, unless if it's something like maybe Whitechapel or Carnifex or something of that nature. That's the kind of deathcore music I listen to and enjoy from time to time. I don't like a lot of it because I do think it gets a bit on the stale side, and that's just a matter of taste. It's not talking trash or anything like that. It's just a matter of taste and opinion. But anyway, back on to Serpents. When I found out that there was going to be an actual full length in the works, I was very much excited to hear about it. But then the thing that really piqued my interest more was the fact that this was all done by Andrew himself. Because in prior inceptions of this band, this was actually a full-fledged lineup. Full touring band, vocalist, drummer, bassist, you name it, it had it all. But for this full length, it's just Andrew by himself. He does everything. The vocals, the bass, the guitar, the drum programming, the symphonics, you name it, he does it all pretty much. It's not just all by himself. He does have some help and assistance going on here. But yeah, anyway, let's get on to this full-length album, Born of Ishtar. It's 9 tracks, and it runs around 40 minutes in length. And from the minute you get past the epilogue of this album, you'll realize that this is something completely different and at the same time extremely crushing. This is deathcore that dares to be different, and this is deathcore that definitely sets to distance itself from the pack and be its own kind of thing. And that's something that I can appreciate about this album very much, and this thought and idea. This is really something wonderful to behold. And if you have your reservations about this music style, I would say give this album a try before you decide to move on to something else completely different. The musicianship and artistry that's on this album is just absolutely flooring. I really enjoy what's going on here with the music. I really love the spasticness and the chaotic vibes of the guitars, just the way the riffs sound. There's a little bit of a black metal tinge going on with the guitarist because you hear a lot of tremolos going on, and you hear some really nice high-end leads going on. I think on the track The Punishment of Existence, I really dig the chaotic solo work that goes on with that song. I think it's really solid. I dig it a lot. And all throughout this album, you do hear the occasional chug kind of riffs that you would normally hear on a deathcore record, but still, just the way they're executed is just absolutely amazing. I think it's fantastic, and I just dig the musical style and vibe that's throughout this record. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold, but I'm still going to be professional and do this review for you guys. Bass-wise, I think the bass is done pretty well. You can hear it quite well. It's very nice and audible in the mix. Excuse me. It does have a little bit of a dingy, dirty kind of vibe and feel to it. It's audible, but not too audible where you think it'll overshadow the guitar or the overall musical factor and vibe of everything. But I think it blends in nicely with what's being done here. Drum-wise, if I'm not mistaken, I think the drums are on the programmed side of things, but for what you do here, it does sound really solid. I might be wrong, please correct me, but overall, I think the drums have a really good, solid vibe and pace to it. I can hear almost a little bit of a behemoth influence as far as the drums are concerned, just really fast double bass, really nice snare and tom hits. Even though it does have a bit of a program vibe, I think it's done very professionally and played very, very nicely. I love it and I enjoy it. And the inclusion of the inclusion of symphonics, keyboards, and I think there's some female vocals to be heard on here too. I think that's a really nice touch. It adds to the atmosphere of the album, the more darkened, mysterious kind of vibes that this album has to bring, and I think that's really, really cool. Um, and the vocals, I really like the vocal style that Andrew is going for here. It's pretty much a spastic, frantic, almost urgent kind of quality in his voice. Pretty much, you can hear him and understand him very clearly. Very good as far as his low growls are. His mid to high range screams sound really good. Very well done, very well worded, and especially when it comes to the lyrical content of this album, very, very strong lyrical content. I really dig that a lot. A lot of intelligence and a lot of depth as far as the lyrics are concerned. So overall, this is a diamond in the rough from a musical style that I really don't pay too much attention to. I honestly wish more bands of the day would pick up and get what this kind of project is set out to do. I really appreciate what's being done here. I think this is a very solid debut. I really look forward to what the future for Serpents is and where everything goes from here. If I'm not mistaken, this album is currently download only. You can purchase this from either iTunes, Amazon, direct from the band's web store. I know there's a very limited amount of physical copies being printed. I'm pretty sure there's going to be more done in the future. I already ordered one, and I believe there's only like 50 being made. There could be more coming, so stay tuned to what they have to say or offer about that. But if you're able to hear this, and if you're into deathcore like Whitechapel or Carnifex or Rose Funeral to that extent, Serpents is definitely the band for you. This is something that dares to be different, has a lot of great metal influences. It's something different, but I'd say give it a shot. If it's not your thing, just simply move along to the next one. So again, the debut album is Born of Ishtar by Serpents. This is released on Trve Media. Definitely support this band, and I'm going to give this a very strong 8 out of 10. Really solid debut, and I'm looking forward to what this project has to offer. So support Serpents. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks all for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel, and until the next time, RMeho out.